So you're gonna be there, or you have to leave for
So
some work?
I'll be here, but some in between I might have to go for some work. But I'll be here throughout the session. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Hi, Tajeshwar. I see some people joining in.
Yeah.
Saurabh just joined in. So, Amber, do you receive mail in case if anyone is having any issue joining in? They reply to you over Freebirds?
Yeah, normally they would do over the mail, or I'm just getting all the numbers also added. So just in case if somebody is I'm just putting them on WhatsApp as well. Yeah,
Achha.
that would take like two more minutes.
Hi, Tajeshwar. Can you hear me okay?
Hey Saurabh, hi. Yeah, I can hear you very well. Yeah.
Great. All right. Okay. So we're just waiting for everyone to join in. It looks like it's going to take around 5 minutes or so.
Sure. No worries. Yeah.
Hey, Ashwini. I see Ashwini has joined, but looks like his mic is not working. So guys, if you can hear me, but still if you're facing any issue with Zoom, just reply to Freebird's mail that you have received so that we can assist you. Hey Kanchan, hi.
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We are just waiting for people to join in. I think it's gonna take around 5 minutes or so.
Sure.
So yeah, just hang around for a bit.
Yeah.
I see Kanchan, Ashwani, Arushi, Tajeshwar, Bhavya, and Saurav. It looks like Saurav is having issue with the mic. The rest all looks okay. Hi Ashwani.
Hi all.
Hi. Okay. So guys, we're just waiting for everyone to join in. I think within 3-4 minutes we should be ready to start. All right. Also, we have all of yours number. So we are quickly creating a WhatsApp group just in case any of you face any issue with the Zoom. You can just respond to the WhatsApp chat and let us know in case if you're facing any issue, right? Nehi's just joined. Hi, Nehi. I hope you can hear me okay and you can see my screen.
Yes.
Cool. All right. So we're gonna be waiting for another 2 minutes, and then we're gonna start the session. Okay, while we are waiting for people to join in, why don't we do this? Okay, so let's have a quick round of introduction. I want you guys to uh, just share one line introduction, and also tell us what kind of traveler you are. So when it comes to kind, what I would like to know, whether you are a wanderer, whether you are a traveler, or whether you are a tourist. Okay, so wanderer is someone who just wanders around without a plan. He doesn't have a destination in mind. He doesn't have dates in mind. Traveler is someone who you can say that, all right, he knows where he's going, but he doesn't know how long he's going to be staying there. And tourists are those who know where exactly they are going and how many days they're going to be spending. Okay, so please identify what kind of explorer you are, whether you are a traveler, wanderer, or a tourist, and just give us one line of introduction. So why don't we start with Arushi?
Okay. Hi everyone. Um, so I think so far I have been more of a tourist, but yeah, I really like exploring new places, and I would like to create more such opportunities for myself, and would like to move from the category of being a tourist to being a traveler probably.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, Ashwini.
Hello.
Yep.
Yes. So I'm Ashwini. So I'm kind of tourist. So means I plan my tour uh, with all the details and all those. So I want to be a definitely traveler. So that's why I'm here.
Mhm. All right. Okay. And where are you based, Ashwini? Where are you from?
I'm from Pune.
Okay. All right. Bhavya.
Hey, hi everyone. Uh, well, I have been mostly of a tourist till now. Uh, Probably like basically looking to explore new avenues actually and become a traveler. Um, yeah, so I'm based in Mumbai. I'm based in Mumbai and looking to actually travel India first of all, as in different places, offbeat places mostly. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. Kanchan.
Hey, I am from Pune and I am a tourist as well. I plan each and everything that I want to see and allot time according to the place and then move on to the another destination. But yeah, I don't mind being a traveler or a wanderer with leisure, with time exploring everything. That would be fun too.
All right. Okay. How about Nehi?
Yeah, hi, Saurav. I missed your question. I got a call. Sorry.
Sorry.
So,
So my question was, what kind of traveler you are, whether you are a wanderer, whether you are a tourist or a traveler, and just a one-line introduction of yourself.
yeah, okay. I'm also from Pune. So I am more of a tourist, maybe 80%, just getting 20% into the traveler mode. And I want to do that more. But yeah, till now, I think I've been 80% of a tourist because I have planned itineraries and I research where I'm, like the place where I'm traveling. I research of places which are famous to be seen and all that, and accordingly plan an itinerary, etc. So
Okay, okay, okay. Saurav?
Hey, hi. So I'm from Bangalore, and I am kind of a mix of I would say traveler and wanderer. So I do have a destination in mind and dates, but then when I go there, I don't exactly plan the itinerary and just roam around to get a good experience of what there is to see. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And Tajeshwar?
Yeah, hi Saurabh, hi everyone. I'm Tajeshwar. I'm basically from Chandigarh, working in Bangalore. Currently based out of Chandigarh because of the lockdown and work from home, which allows me to be at home, fortunately. And I'm also a tourist, yes, but I do keep some flexibility around so that I can do some things spontaneously. And there's a scope of doing things which I would probably want to do at that point of time, depending on the mood and depending on how we are liking the place, and also keep some spontaneity for the kind of food places that I want to visit. Food is a very important part of my travel, so I keep some time open for that, and it's not like a fixed schedule. But yes, my corporate job doesn't allow me to have a lot of flexibility to be a wanderer or a traveler. I probably would have wished for it, but I don't see that happening anytime soon unless I leave my corporate job. But so more of a tourist, yeah. So looking forward to the session, yeah.
All right, okay. Anyone is left?
Yeah,
Everyone?
Saurav, I'm
Yeah.
left being a
Okay.
co-host here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please go
So,
on, Amber.
yeah, I was thinking, I mean, all of us are talking with mic on and no video in the interactive session. So for ice breaking, I thought, let me just put on the video. It might have a human touch. Yeah, so for me, I'm not a very good wanderer for sure. I'm a more of a traveler or tourist person. And
Okay.
largely because that's how we have been, so far lived up to, I mean, till now. And yeah, I would love to be part of the vendor or explore the places where you just backpack and travel around some great places. So that's why I'm also very much interested in looking forward to this presentation. That
Sure.
how actually a person like you can travel 100 plus countries. So do let us know, all the gyan and everything which is out there. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, thanks a lot for introduction. I got the idea of where you guys are coming from. I just wanted to quickly get the idea of, what kind of, traveling you have been doing so that I can customize the content accordingly. So yes, I see that most of you are tourists, and what we'll be covering in this presentation is how we can save on flight tickets, how we can save on all ways of all different ways we travel around, how we can save on stays, how we can save on miscellaneous expenses that happens during travel, right? And just to give you guys a quick background of myself and where I'm coming from. So travel just took over my life. Travel just changed the way I live and work. And it all happened, I would say, it all started 14 years ago. So 14 years ago, when I got my first job in a small village in Italy, then I think that's when I felt like, hey, it's more interesting to travel around than to sit in office and work. Okay, and then it became more than a passion. I felt like, hey, it makes sense to leave the job and travel indefinitely. So after 5 years of 9 to 5, I left my job to take a gap year. 2012 was my gap year, where I traveled first around India, then I went to Southeast Asia, then to China, then to Africa. And by the end of it, I felt like, hey, that 1 year was so eventful that it makes sense to live my life like this. You know, it will be great if we can travel indefinitely, travel along with the work. So 2013 onwards, I have been working for myself, and I chose that lifestyle so that I can continue my quest to visit all the countries. So since 2013, I decided to visit all 196 countries, and that has been a life quest around which everything else has been revolving, right? My businesses, my life choices, etc. And so far, it's been 91 countries, and it's very close to halfway. And I have been traveling on Indian passport. So any question about going anywhere in the world, any question about applying for visa, anything related to travel, please feel free to ask. I will keep the presentation short. We will focus more on the question answers because I think that will be more relevant to you guys. Okay. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the chat section so that whenever we get a chance to go through it, you know, we can take up question. Also, if there is something which you think is very relevant, you can always stop me. I don't want to keep talking. Please feel free to stop me and ask a question if you want to. That's also fine. All right. So see, what we'll be doing is, I feel like when it comes to traveling, almost 50% of our expense goes on flight tickets, okay, and 25% on the stays, and the last 25% on miscellaneous items like food and other items. So we will be seeing how we can optimize all three of them, you know, and I feel that we can save significantly. Like when it comes to flight deals, I see that how we can save up to 50 to 60%. Okay, like if you're following the flight hacks, which all the pro travelers they follow. Similarly, when it comes to stay, I have seen if you're making use of the hospitality network, right, hospitality network, you can save up to 100%. You know, there are ways where you can you know, stay for free with the locals, and that's completely safe. So depending on where in the world you are, we can you know, choose which hospitality network to use. And when it comes to food and miscellaneous item, I see how we can again save up to 50 to 60%. All right. Any of you have any questions so far? No? Okay. So, all right. So yeah, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. I think that will be the best, so that I also know what exactly, what kind of issues you have faced while traveling. I mean, that way we can keep it very, very relevant. All right. So let's see how we can save money on accommodation. By any chance, any of you have heard of hospitality networks? Have you used any hospitality network? No? No one?
Yes, I have used
Tanvi has used. Which one, Tanvi?
couch surfing.
Okay. And you have hosted people on Couchsurfing?
No, not yet.
Okay. You have just met people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that means other than Tanvi, all the rest of you, you're hearing Couchsurfing for the first time, is it?
I've heard about couchsurfing as well.
Oh, Rahul. Okay. Yes. So have you hosted people?
No, actually, yes, I have hosted people on couchsurfing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So guys, Couchsurfing is an amazing network of travelers who are traveling around, and you know, who are always willing to meet travelers when they have anyone in their city. Okay. So and it's completely free, of course. So you can go to Couchsurfing, create a profile, and you can see who all are coming to your city, and you can write them a message, you can send them a request to host them at your place, right? And also while you are traveling, you can send a couch request. Let's say if let's say if you are in London and you want to stay for 5 days, so you can find someone who has a house there, and you can write to that person that, hey, I'll be happy to stay with you for 5 days, and here is what I can do in return, right? So it's all about a cultural exchange. So you can if you're sending a couch request, you always have to share what are you offering, whether you can teach them something, whether you can cook for them. Okay, so it's a great way to leverage skills you have. So I have seen that so many travelers around the world, they are using couchsurfing extensively to stay for free. So it's and something it's also has to do with the geography. So if you are anywhere in Europe, couchsurfing is widely used, and you can use couchsurfing even if you are in a small town or a village. So couchsurfing in US, in Europe is widely used, and feel free to send a couch request and stay with couchsurfers. In other places, like in Southeast Asia, what I've seen is that it's sometimes difficult to find someone who can offer you a place to stay, but you can always meet people. You can always meet people who can show you around, right? So it's like if you're a budget traveler, if you want to save money on the stay, it makes more sense to use couchsurfing than to book an Airbnb or stay in a hostel. So does that make sense to you guys? Is that something you think will you can make use of when you're traveling next?
So, Saurav, I have a question on hospitality networks. You said like the places where couchsurfing is widely used, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, right? But do you have a personal experience where this kind of network was not so readily used by the travelers, and yet you used it and found it like it was pretty good to go? I'm talking about some places, maybe some places in Africa or something like that.
So yes, see, so here is a map of couchsurfing. So you can see that where you can find most number of hosts, right? So this will give you an idea about what to expect, more or less. So if you are in, like you can see that in US and Europe, there are most of the couch surfers are over there, and it won't be much of a difficulty to find a host if your profile is legit, like if you have fill up all the details, and if you have a good number of reviews and vouch, right? But there are offbeat places where you can find couch surfers, and you can send them a request, like Middle East, for example. Middle East people are very, very hospitable, right? So even if there are less number of couch surfers, the couch surfers who are there, they will go beyond their limits to help you. For example, just to give you an example, when I was traveling in Jordan, I got a couch surfer who offered me to drop from one city to another city, just because he had like 4 hours of free time, and he felt like, hey, you know what, you don't have to get on a bus or anything. I'll be happy to drop you from Amman to Aqaba, so it's a great gesture, and I feel like it's part of a culture in most of the Maghreb and Arabic and Middle Eastern countries. Like you'll find lots of people who will be extremely hospitable. Does that answer your question, Amber?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So just to give you guys an idea, like yes, other than Europe and US, you can definitely use couchsurfing in other geographies as well. Ensure your profile is good, like you have references from others, and then you can wherever you are, you can just search and find out if there are other hosts or if there are other travelers, and they can they can host you. You can get in touch with them. So what I'll be doing is, I have all of your mail ID. I'll be sending you a black book of couchsurfing. Okay, so the black book of couchsurfing has all the details of how you should uh, go about your couchsurfing profile.
Hey,
Okay.
Saurav.
Yeah.
I actually had a question. So I just wanted to ask, what is basically, how safe is it actually? How does it rank on the safety thing, especially like for a female? If I...
Yeah. So what happens is that on couchsurfing, you can read references. So they have a blind review system. So every time you're meeting someone, you can always write a reference, write a review, and that will be there in the profile permanently. So that way you can get an idea of the person you are meeting, right? So other than review system, they also have vouch. Vouch is something uh, which is much more relevant than reviews, because vouch you get only once someone who has more than 3 vouchers and someone really vouches for you. So it's like a badge of trust. Okay, so if you're following if you are careful about reading the reviews and seeing if the person has got vouched by others, then I have seen it's being mostly safe, you know. So so far, I would not say I never had a negative experience on couchsurfing, but I feel um, positive experience outnumbers significantly the negative ones. Like very few, hardly out of, if let's say I would have interacted more than 1,000 people on couchsurfing, and out of that, I would say only 5 to 10 has been a letdown, you know. So to answer your question of safety, what I would say is to start with, you should always look for the person you are inviting or person you are sending couch requests to, whether they have positive references and vouch or not. That's one. Second, also be familiar of the culture, like what to expect, what are some do's and don'ts. Okay. uh, yeah, for example, what I have noticed is, let's say if you're in Southeast Asia, it's it's like it's very difficult to find someone who can host you at home. It's because most of the people, they're staying with their parents, and if they're staying with the parents, it's they're not very comfortable to invite a guest over. But but there are many expats, they're living in their apartments, and they'll be happy to host you, you know. So it's more like have an idea about what to expect on couch surfing, depending on the geography you are in.
So is it just for making networks, or we can earn through this?
No, you can't earn through this. No, it's in fact, couch surfing doesn't allow you to have any kind of business transaction. All they want is just a free of cost hospitality network. So you can always offer something in return without charging for money. Okay, for example, let's say if you want to stay in let's say if you want to stay in Berlin, you can write to your host that, hey, if you're hosting me for 5 days, I can cook for you, or I can teach you Hindi.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And that's one of the many hospitality networks that we have and we can leverage. Okay, so as I said, depending on the geography we are in, we can decide which one to use. So there is another network called Woofing. Any of you have heard of Woofing? No?
No, no.
Okay. So Woofing is working worldwide on open organic farms. So what happens on Woofing is you can find farms who are looking for volunteers. All right. So around the world, there are many farms where they're always looking for volunteers who can help them with keeping the farm going. Like you can help with just taking care of the farm, like 3-4 hours of maybe just taking care or just staying over there or doing some manual work. Okay, so and that's a global network. So you can but that work mostly in the outskirts. So let's say if you are in New Zealand, or if you're in Australia, if you are in Eastern Europe, you can find farms looking for volunteers, and you can write to them, and if they are happy with your profile, then they will be hosting you. Okay, so the way woofing works is, one, so it's for the outskirts. It's mostly for places which are away from the city, and if you are uh, um, if you are anywhere in the Eastern Europe or Australia or New Zealand, I think those are the best places to use it. But you'll have to commit for certain number of weeks or months. It's like if you want to stay just for 2 days, then this hospitality network won't work. You'll have to commit at least a couple of weeks. Okay, so do you think any of you would be interested in using such hospitality network? Any of you want to stay in farm?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Tanvi again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, why? Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, you can check it out. The way it works is every country has their own separate woofing website. So you'll have to pay for an annual fee, and once you pay that, then you have access to all the farm owners messages. You can check who all are looking for volunteers, and you can write to them. Okay, so similar to that, there is Home Exchange. Then there is Gigrove. Gigrove is for mostly uh, techies. So techies can find a place to stay and offer their services in return. So HelpX is there. HelpX is I would say it's a superset of woofing. So other than farm, there are all different places who are always looking for volunteers. So there are lots of hostels as well looking for volunteers. Okay, so in case so yes, if you are flexible with your time, and if you want to stay for a little longer period, HelpX and woofing are really useful. Like you can, through HelpX, you can find a hostel who would be happy to host you, and all you'll have to do in return is just offer 3 to 4 hours of your time every day. Okay, so
Can you explain more about Gigmore? How does it work?
Gigrove. So yes, so Gigrove is a hospitality network which is primarily for techies. So techies and designers. So you can create your profile, and you can see which startups are looking for people who can come stay with their team and offer their skill. So it's like, you can say it's like couch surfing, but they are operating in the niche. They say that we just want to host techies and those who can help us with some startup work.
Okay.
Okay, so if you guys like volunteering, you can apply for UN volunteers as well. So I see that most of you are tourists, and for tourists, these are extreme steps, right? These are something you might not have thought of. These are something which mostly wanderers use, right? These are some things which you can probably use once you have all the freedom and flexibility while traveling, right? If you have a very fixed schedule, then it gets very tough, isn't it? So but yeah, I just wanted to give you guys idea about what's there for wanderers, what's there for extreme travelers, those who are traveling extremely frugally and leveraging all these hospitality networks, right? So at the same time, if you feel like this is kind of not something you would be interested in, please let me know so that I can suggest you option very, very relevant to you. You know, like I see that most of these hospitality networks are not for mainstream tourists at all. Probably they would not use it. Okay.
It's still good to know about them.
Yeah. So also when it comes to camping, there are many countries which allows camping for free. So there are, like, if you are in Scandinavia, you can pitch your tent anywhere, you know. So there is no such rule that you have a designated place for camping. And many travelers, they make use of it. And the nature there in all the Scandinavian countries is really wild and very beautiful. So it's if any of you get a chance to go to Sweden, Norway, anywhere in Scandinavia, please explore that as an option. Try to camp for a couple of days and see how that goes. Okay, so that was the stay part. Any question any of you guys have on how to go about optimizing the cost of stay while traveling? Even if, let's say, if you want to use hotels, or even if you want to use Airbnb, if you have any questions, please bring it on.
Yeah, Saurabh, especially since most of us over here are tourists, if you have any tips on people who are mostly staying in either hotels or Airbnbs, if you could cover that as well, it will be really helpful based on your experience.
Sure. So first of all, if you want to I think it also depends on the geography. Like, if you're traveling in Southeast Asia, you'll find great Airbnbs, and makes more sense to stay in Airbnbs than to book a hotel. Like, for example, if you are in Bali, if you are in Chiang Mai, anywhere in Philippines, you can book villas which are extremely good, very high class, and extremely affordable. Like, for $20, you can have a really nice entire villa in some places. Okay, so in Southeast Asia, definitely use Airbnb. You will definitely save some money, and also you will have a great option when it comes to value for money. Yeah, I would say when it comes to stay in Africa, in East Africa, for example, you won't have much of an Airbnb option. So booking hotels is what you would have to primarily rely on. Central Asia, again, it's hotels you'll have to rely on, and you can make use of booking.com. Booking.com pretty much works everywhere, and when it comes to booking hotels, I would suggest to make use of booking.com. Also, a big plus is that most of the hotels you can book without paying any advance on booking.com. Like, they give you option to pay at the time of check-in. Okay.
Yeah, I think even in terms of the reviews they give, I find them to be very helpful in comparison to the other portals.
Right. Yes. Also, another hack for is if you're applying for visa from India, and many of the visa application process requires you to submit proof for your hotel bookings, right? So let's say, for example, if you're applying for Schengen visa, it makes sense to use booking.com for booking your stay, because you can get confirmed booking without paying any amount, and that always helps. Like, you don't have to pay money upfrontly, right? So if you're applying for Schengen visa, and if you have to submit proof of stay, you can always, even if you want to book for a month or 2 months, you can make use of booking.com.
Sure.
Okay.
And also in terms of how early would you suggest somebody to make the bookings? I know the earliest you do, probably you will get better rates. But what do you think is a good time period, both for flights as well as hotels?
So yeah, flights, I'll come. We have a whole section on flights.
Sure,
We'll cover that. When it comes to stay, again, it depends on what time you are traveling. If you're traveling in in the on season, like if you're if you're traveling during December, high season is always tricky. The best places gets booked very early, so you'll have to be bit watchful of that. um, so yeah, I mean, try to get some idea about how, I mean, what the situation is like, and then you can take a call. What I have noticed is that in most of the places, Airbnbs are available. Airbnbs it's mostly always there are more number of Airbnbs than the demand is there for that particular place. So you can always find some Airbnbs in the last moment. And also many Airbnbs, they offer last minute discounts, so uh, it makes sense to, if you're booking an Airbnb, you can always check if there are last minute discounts, and then you don't have to book in advance. You can very much book in the last moment and have the place for a discounted price.
Sure. Thanks, Saurabh. That's helpful.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, any other question when it comes to saving money on stays? No? I have to say something, or I'll assume that you guys are sleeping.
I think you have covered all the points of the
The
stage.
stay part. All right. That's great. Okay. Okay. Let's move to transportation. That's where we're going to be saving majority of our expenses. And the major expense is flights most of the time, whether you're taking 1 week of travel or whether you're going to be traveling for a month. Like I have seen that travel flight expenses is the major expense. So we'll be covering all the 6 ways of transportation: flights, hitchhiking, sailing, railways, bus, and cycling around. So when it comes to flights, what I've seen is that there are some low-cost carriers who they announce flight deals on their social media, and you get to know about those deals only if you subscribe to their mailing list or if you subscribe to their social handles. So I'll show you which are the major low-cost carriers in different geography, and you can just go and follow them on Twitter, or just subscribe to their mailing list, so that next time they are running any deal, you get to know about it. Okay. Also, which flight aggregator you use matters a lot. I have seen many people, they say Skyscanner is what they have been using primarily, but I feel Skiplagged is way better than Kayak, Skyscanner, or any other flight aggregator. Do any of you guys have any experience with the Skiplagged? You know about this aggregator? No?
No.
No. So
No.
yeah, it's so amazing that they got sued by an airline. So they have a great engine, and like many times so they show some flight connections which no other aggregator managed to find out. I'm not sure what exactly they do to make that happen, but it has worked. I have been using Skiplag for the last 6 years. I have never been disappointed, and I find most of the cheap flights through Skiplag. Okay, just to give you an example, when it comes to flight prices, just to give you an example how much of difference it makes, I want you guys to guess. Let's say if you want to fly from anywhere in India to let's say Perth in Australia, how much do you think will be the cheapest one-way flight ticket?
30.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyone?
30, 35.
Anyone else?
25.
No. No. You guys are nowhere close. It's way, way, way less than that.
15.
No.
Oh my gosh, I can't guess.
So when AirAsia started their flight operation from Kochi to Perth, they were offering one-way flight ticket for 9,000 rupees. So you can fly from Kochi to Perth for just 9,000. Uh, and uh, and they offered this price for more than a year, and after that, like they were running deals, and during the deals they will offer this price. So like you will get a return ticket to Australia for around 22K. Okay, so
And
it's
how did you get the information?
so one I got you'll get to know only if you are subscribed to AirAsia social handles or mailers. So I got to know through their Twitter account. Also, this is quite common amongst low cost career. Like they have to offer such flights in order to be in the business. Like they make money by selling tickets on volume. Like it works for them. AirAsia is running it's running in profits, and it's completely fine. So
Okay,
yeah, I
but
mean that.
for
Sorry.
those who are not on Twitter, what do you suggest?
So you'll have to go to their website and check. So you should know. So I'll show you which are the different airlines which are low cost in different geographies, and you'll have to keep a watch on them. Like if you are in Middle East, then Air Arabia, Fly Dubai is there. In Kenya, this Fly 540 is there. Um, in Central America, there is Interjet, and so on. In Europe, there's Ryanair and EasyJet. Like in Europe, I'm sure many of you guys would have heard of that. At times it's way cheaper to fly than to take a train, right?
Yes.
So if you're using Ryanair or EasyJet, you can get flight tickets for 20 euro.
Yeah.
So that's there. So these are the low cost airlines in different geographies.
So are
Can
you
you show last slide again?
Sorry?
Can you show last slide again?
Sure. Taking a
So I was
screenshot.
asking, are you suggesting we subscribe to all of these airlines to get this?
It's like you don't have to subscribe to all of them. If you're not going to that particular geography, you don't have to, right? If let's say
wherever we are going.
wherever you're going, so if you're traveling in Southeast Asia, it makes sense to be aware of AirAsia deals, so you'll
I
have
see.
to go and subscribe. If you don't want to subscribe, the best is just go to Skiplagged, and Skiplagged you can search for flights. Skiplagged, I think they do take into consideration most of these low cost airlines. Okay, so that's there. So that's about the flights. See, it's like if you're flexible with the dates, you can easily save up to more than 50 to 60% on the flight tickets. Okay, you can ask me you can ask me about any geography, and I can tell you which airline you should use or how to go about getting the cheapest flight ticket.
For US?
So for US, so Wow Air used to be the cheapest, but Wow Air just discontinued. Like in 2018, I got a return flight ticket for 25K, and that was Delhi to New York and return. Okay, but right now you won't get that price, but you will get it somewhere around 40K. Okay. Also, see, other thing you guys should be watchful or be aware of is that it like if you're flexible with the place from where you want to fly, there also you can save some money. For example, in India there are some places where cost of landing is low. Okay, and because of that, the flight costs are low. So flying from Kochi to anywhere in Middle East is way lower than flying from Bangalore to that place. Okay, and it is significantly lower, so that it makes more sense for anyone to take a bus from Bangalore to Kochi and then take a flight from Kochi rather than to take a flight from Bangalore to that destination. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's one thing. So be aware of which are places where the cost of landing is low. One. Second, then there are some global hubs. Just because they are a big hub, the cost to fly there is lower. For example, Frankfurt is a big hub. Amsterdam is a big hub. So flying from Mumbai to Amsterdam is cheaper. Okay, so if I have to, let's say if I have to go to Hamburg, if I have to go to Munich, if I have to go anywhere in Europe, I won't straight away fly to that destination. Rather, I would go to a hub, because I know that, you know, the flight ticket would be around 30 to 40% cheaper. Like if I search for a flight ticket from Mumbai to Frankfurt, I can easily get for between 25 to 30K. Okay. But if I search for a flight ticket from Mumbai to Munich, it's gonna be 40K plus.
I see.
Okay.
That's a good information, sir.
Right. And what I will do is that I'll fly to Frankfurt, and then from Frankfurt, I'll take a BlaBlaCar to Munich. And the BlaBlaCar is like $5-6 or sometimes even cheaper, because, you know, it's a peer-to-peer. You have people who are happy to have someone as a, you know, companion. Sometimes they don't even care about how much money they're making out of it. Right. So that's something you should
Is this
be
information mentioned in your PPT? Because I'm not, or should I note it right now? Or do you have?
Right. No, it's there. We'll come to that. So that was about the flights. Okay. Also, guys, I think the session is gonna be a little longer. So I hope that's fine with you guys. I just want to ensure that all the question gets answered and we cover everything. So I'm assuming it's gonna be around hour and a half. Okay. All right. So any of you have any questions on the flight deals? No? Okay. So when it comes to hitchhiking around the world, there is a wiki of hitchhiking. It's called HitchWiki. And I've taken this screenshot from the HitchWiki. So on HitchWiki, you can find out how easy it is to hitchhike in that particular geography. So as you can see on the map, anywhere in Russia, anywhere in Canada, Eastern Europe, it's easy to hitchhike. In New Zealand, it's very easy to hitchhike. Makes sense to hitchhike. So if you are in Eastern Europe, Russia, make use of hitchhiking. You know, you can just stand on the highway, wave your hand, try to find a ride. Makes sense. Also, there are apps which people are using for hitchhiking. Has any of you guys hitchhiked before? Are you interested in hitchhiking?
Yes, done it.
Where have you done it?
Italy, Venice.
Oh, nice. Okay. How can you hitchhike in Venice? You hitchhiked on gondola?
No. From actually, I was staying with a couch surfer little outside. So to reach the center of Venice, I was hitchhiking.
Was it easy?
Yeah, I kind of hitchhiked in a truck.
Okay. Wow. Nice. Yeah. Like, but those are like prime tourist destination. Like it's not normal for people to give you a ride. If you're in the city, it's very, very difficult. Yeah. So yes, it makes sense to hitchhike if you're at the right place. Also, if you're in small islands, then it's very, very safe, because you know, in smaller islands, everyone knows everyone, and no one can you know, commit a crime and just disappear. So it's safe. So that's the rule of thumb. If you're in a very small island, feel absolutely free to ask for a ride. You will find most of the people are working for themselves, and they won't mind giving you a ride, even if they have to go to a different place than where they were supposed to go. So yeah, that like if you guys want to give it a try, just check out HitchWiki and get some idea about the place, and then you can give it a try. Any of you would like to hitchhike in future?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanvi?
Yeah, you'd like.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, all right.
What is that
Great.
app that you were talking about for hitchhiking?
So here is it. The backseat surfing is there. Road sharing is there. So it's like the new app keep coming. So it's all about carpooling. So search for the carpooling and find if there are any new carpooling app in that
Is it
geography.
or chargeable?
No, these are free. These are for hitchhikers. There are, as I said, there are peer-to-peer network for rides as well, where you have to pay. One of which is called BlaBlaCar. BlaBlaCar is the biggest peer-to-peer ride-sharing app, and it is extensively used in Europe. So if you guys are, let's say if you're on a Euro trip, it makes more sense to use BlaBlaCar than to take a train or a flight, because you will find someone who will be happy to give you a ride from one city to another for really low amount, like €5 or even lower. Yeah. So the way it works is that in Europe, there's so many people who are staying in a different city, but they often drive for work. Like they drive, they don't mind driving like 3-4 hours just to get to their place of work. Like if they are working in big cities like Frankfurt, Paris, London, etc. Also, there are people who are like, they stay Monday to Friday at their workplace, and then during the weekends they go back to their village or hometown. So you will always, so the volume of people going cross country and driving from one city to another is quite high over there. And these people, at times they are happy even if they get a companion who can just accompany them while they're going. They just don't want to drive all alone. So they are always happy to get people. Okay. And also what happens is that the way BlaBlaCar works is, let's say if I'm in Berlin, and if I have to go to Frankfurt, and I have 3 seats available in my car and 2 has already been filled, so I'm happy to give a discount to the third person, because like, hey, I mean, in just 4 hours and I want to drive, and I don't mind if I get just another person who can just accompany us. So that's how it works. And it's all the time I went for a Euro trip, I used BlaBlaCar. So far had great experience, works perfectly fine. Other big plus is that it drops you from point to point. So you can always ask the driver to meet somewhere midway where you can get on the car, and you can always ask the driver to drop you somewhere closer to where you want to go in the city. So that way you won't have to use any public transportation once you arrive in the city as well. So there also you save money. Many flights end up becoming more expensive, because it's, let's say if you're flying from one city to another, and if the airport is far away from the city center, then again you'll have to book a Uber, or you'll have to figure out a way to get to the city center. So these are the small little ways you can save money, but if you're like traveling continuously, everything adds up. All right.
So yeah. So do you have any common platform where which covers actually almost all the countries? So like for BlaBla, you said that Europe is the one where it extends a lot. But then are there any other platforms or applications which can support other countries as well? Like
Okay.
it's broad and widespread.
Sure. So
What would you recommend?
right. So again, it varies. So Europe and US, we can say that both the places BlaBlaCar works really well. But then other than that, in other geography, depending on where in the where in the world you are, it will be something different. For example, in Africa, it's all about they have apps similar to Ola and Uber for ride sharing. In Horn of the Africa, I mean, those motorbikes works the best. Then yeah. So then, I mean, in other geographies, I don't see any one player. Like there are several players and something very, very specific to that particular area. So you can always ask me, like if you ask me for about any particular region, and I can tell you what way of transportation works the best.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Okay. So sailing again is a very offbeat way of traveling. It's mostly for vagabonds, for wanderers, those who have all the freedom and flexibility, and those who are okay to wait for days, weeks, and months. Okay. But yeah, just in case any of you guys in future want to use sailing as a way of transportation, you can make use of these networks. Desperate Sailors is a network where they're looking for volunteers who can be part of cruise ships and volunteer in some way. So they're looking for entertainers, they're looking for people with specific skills who can just come on board and be part of the team, right? So again, this is it's a very, very niche. Only few people use it, mostly those who are uh, on gap years. I would say digital nomads also, they don't use it because if it, for many of them, sailing doesn't work, because if you're sailing, you won't be connected all the time. So it's like sometime it will take more than a month to go from one destination to another, and you'll be disconnected for weeks. So yeah, in case if you want to, then you can check out findacrew.net is another one. Okay. So yeah, that's about sailing. Any of you guys are planning for a Euro trip in near future?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're planning for a Euro trip, and if you're looking to spend more than a month, then it makes sense to take a Eurail pass. So Eurail pass, the way it works is that uh, you can choose which all countries you want the pass to be applicable to, and then you can choose the number of days or months, and then you can get a pass which will work on majority of the trains there, right? So it with that you will have the flexibility to take any train, and you won't have to book train tickets in advance. You just have to pay for the reservation. You just have to take the train, and once you're on the train, if you want uh, the seat to be reserved, then you'll have to pay for the reservation. So if, let's say, if you want to travel around Europe for a month or more than a month, and if you're looking to visit more than let's say 8 to 10 destination, then it makes sense to go for Eurail. You can also use BlaBlaCar, but in case you don't want any uncertainty at all, if you're traveling with a family, then Eurail will end up being more suitable for your requirements. Okay. Eurolines pass is something similar to Eurail, but Eurolines is for the bus. So the way Euroline work is the same. Like you get a Euroline pass, and you can use that pass to go from any destination to other destination. You don't have to pay for every leg. You just have to have a pass which is applicable in a certain geography for a certain number of days. Okay, so these two, Eurail and Euroline pass, works in US. We have Wheeler Express, that's the same thing for Japan. Okay. Any questions so far, guys, for about sailing or
Yeah,
railways?
sort of. Just out of curiosity, any specific regions in which sailing is quite common or quite prevalent as a mode of transport?
Okay, so see, what I've seen is that sailing is mostly used by those extreme travelers who are like, traveling for all year around, and they want to really cut down on their travel expenses. So I have seen like there are travelers who are going from, let's say, if they're going from Australia to Africa, and they have they have time in their hand, so they will find a cruise ship which is going from Australia to Africa. It will take around a month, but they'll be happy to just chill there. So if you're traveling in Caribbean, if you're traveling in Pacifics, if you're traveling in anywhere in Oceania, then it makes sense to make use of this network.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Any other question, guys? No? Okay. So yeah.
Sorry, I have a question. Specifically for Egypt, what is the best mode for travel there?
So you'll have to, you can fly in, I think Air Arabia, which would be a good flight. So we have Air Arabia flight from Mumbai to Cairo via Dubai or Abu Dhabi. And then once you are in Egypt, then it makes sense to either take a bus or you can book a car. So they don't have train network or any other way. When taking a bus or booking a car is what would work the best.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Also, so what has, just to give you a bit of idea about Egypt, what to expect. For a very long time, government had restricted tourism in Egypt. So what was happening is that tourists were mostly going to places like Luxor, Cairo, and Alexandria, and tourists were always escorted. So like government tried not to expose tourists to much of offbeat locations, and they didn't wanted tourists to interact with the locals. Okay, and although that has changed a bit, still I see that it's kind of still not very much open. So and that's the reason why like if anyone is traveling in Egypt, I still see that they would either they will book a cab, or like max they will book a bus. But still it's like very much point to point, and you can't just go around everywhere in Egypt as a tourist, like it's kind of restricted.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question, guys? No. So okay, let's see how we can save money on food and drinks. I'm not sure if you guys really want to. I mean, people want to save money on flights and stays so that they can splurge on food. But yeah, in case if you want, yeah, some rules. So always buy from the supermarket. In most of the places, supermarket is where you will get a fair price. And if you are in Europe and US, you can have a good meal in the supermarket. Like, you can have a proper meal. It's not just the cold food, or it's not just snacks, but you can have healthy meal, and that will be economic. So makes sense to buy from the supermarket. And yeah, also follow the crowd when it comes to food. They know, and crowd knows where the best food is, and always eat where the locals eat, right? So that's, I think, that will ensure that you're having a good food, and also it's not very, very expensive. Okay. Any of you guys have heard of this thing called dumpster diving? No. So yeah, again, it's a very extreme thing. So what happens is, in Europe and US, mostly in Europe, what happens is lots of good stuff gets dumped because they want the stuff in the supermarket to, just they want a good influx of things coming and going. So lots of good food is just dumped because of no reason. Like they just want the new stuff to come to the supermarket, so they have to dump the old one, even if the food is not expired. And what people do is, there are some people who just go and take this stuff. So although it's you can say it's illegal, but there are some people who find out a way to do it without being caught. So it's more of lots of hippies, lots of gypsies have been doing it, lots of counterculturists have been doing it. So yeah, so that's one way to save on food. Also, there are places where what happens is, they reduce the price of the food every evening for some consumables. So for example, if you are in Scandinavia, I've seen it happening in Finland, is some baked items is reduced by around 30 to 40% every evening, because they would rather want people to buy it than to just dump it and go to waste. So that's another thing to be aware of. Like, if you are in Scandinavia, makes sense to buy during the evening, so that you get some stuff for a discounted price. Is that okay? So that's about the food. So we covered how to save money on transportation. We covered how to save money on stay and the food. I think we can also save significant money on pre-travel expenses, like applying for visa and all, if you know how to go about it. Okay, so for example, I don't know what's the usual way. What do you, if let's say if you have to plan a trip to a country, let's say if you want to go to Germany, what do you usually do? I think, I'm assuming most of you guys, you go and approach an agent who can help you with the visa processing, right? Like VFS or someone else who can apply for a visa on your behalf, right? I think that's the normal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah,
but what you can do rather is, I have seen that most of the countries have very straightforward tourist visa rules, and you can do it on your own. So it doesn't make sense to just pay for visa processing at all, like if it's not required. Okay, so a couple of sites which are very, very helpful is one, on Wikipedia. If you search for visa regulation for Indian citizens, you will find there is a wiki page which has details of which are countries for which you don't require a visa with an Indian passport, and there are more than 55 countries for which you don't require a visa. And on that page, it's also listed how to go about visa application for every country. Okay, so it makes more sense to start from there. Make My Trip also has a page where you can just select the country and you can see what are the documents required for tourist visa and for other visas for that particular country, right? And you can, once you have that information, you can always call the embassy directly, and you can check with them is that if you can apply for the visa in person, right? So for many countries it's allowed to apply for visa directly, and you can save money on that. For some countries, what has happened is that they don't accept application from individuals at all. They have outsourced the visa part to third parties like VFS, so it makes sense to go through them. So in that case, make sure you go directly to VFS and give your documents. You don't have to involve, let's say, another party for collection of documents or submission. Again, I think it's just unnecessarily, it's just unnecessary and doesn't serve any purpose. Like if you approach VFS directly, they'll be happy to help you with the documents. And what I've seen is that for most of the countries, tourist visa has been very, very straightforward now with the Indian passport. And every year I'm seeing that more and more new countries are being added to the list of countries for which either we don't require a visa or you get a visa on arrival. So that's a good news for all the people traveling with the Indian passport. Okay. Any question, guys? If any of you guys are looking to go to any particular country, then I'll be happy to help you decide how to go about it.
So I had two questions. One is travel within India.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things that we talked about, what is the best way to be traveling within India? If you have any websites or any such kind of apps that we can look into.
Mm-hmm.
And also second question was about safety of traveling alone as a female. Which are the places where we got to be careful not to be traveling alone rather?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so for the first question, can you be a little more specific, like where in India you are looking to go, and I can tell you.
For example, South, Northeast.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, right. So see, what's happening at the moment is what I'm seeing is that domestic tourism in India is going to get a boost because now that we are not getting enough travelers from outside India, because we are kind of the borders are closed, and it looks like in the coming months it's going to remain like that. So what's happening is that every state is boosting tourism to ensure that people uh, people who are in the travel and hospitality sector, they make some money. Okay, so I see that lots of campaigns going on when it comes to state tourism, so that's good. And it's like in coming months, once we will start traveling interstate, I do see that we will have I think attractive deals better than what it was before, because I mean, I'm interacting with players in the travel and hospitality sectors, and I can see that how they want to use this time to make use of domestic tourism. So for example, when it comes to traveling in Northeast area, it's yes, it's very, very serene, it's very beautiful. It's one of the parts of India which they have been unfortunate to not get much of tourists, but it's extremely beautiful. And if you're going in the month of November and December, you can have a very unique experience. For example, every year in December, Nagaland hosts Hornbill Festival, and Hornbill is an extremely unique festival, and we get photographers and travelers from all around the world who come and take part in this unique experience. So it's great if you can travel there and experience Hornbill in the month of December. And when it comes to connectivity, I feel if you fly into Guwahati, you can easily go from Guwahati to all the different destinations in Northeast easily. So it's like you won't have an issue. Just that you'll have to go to Guwahati. You'll have to apply for inner line permit for certain places, and that is done within a day. I think. I mean, last I went there was long ago, but I know that still you have to get a permit. But once you get a permit, within a day you can easily go. You can you can find you can book a cab, or you can find a shared cab which can take you to those places. Does that answers your question?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And sorry, what was the second part? Can you come again?
The safety,
Right.
traveling alone. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I have seen is that it's more like when you're traveling alone, maybe start with the places which are comparatively with better infrastructure, and that it's safe. So the India that I have seen, I have noticed that people, it's like I would not like to generalize it, but this has been my observation that infrastructure in the southern part of India is way better than the northern part, and it's much easier to travel solo for boys as well as girls in southern part of India, right? So anyone who wants to get into solo travel, makes sense to start with South India. Travel in Kerala, travel in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, see how that goes, and after a while, once you feel okay with that, then you can travel in the northern parts of India, western and eastern part, right? So because it's not just the infrastructure, but also the culture varies depending on where in the country you are. In southern part of India, it's normal for people to see solo travelers. I have seen people, boys and girls, traveling solo in southern India, and that's been completely fine. If you're traveling solo in certain places in northern part of India, like you will always be kind of questioned, or people will be surprised to see, or they will be curious to know. Maybe you'll find people always staring at you. I mean, these things are common if you're in UP or Bihar, in Delhi and around, right? So it's what I have noticed is it's more of a if you want to start solo travel journey, better to start from places which it will be comfortable for you to start from, so that you also get to know whether solo travel is for you or not, and also you get used to of it, how to go about it, and you get better at taking care of yourself, and just be very comfortable with traveling solo. Once you are done that, then you can slowly venture into places which is I would say not mainstream for tourists. Also, to answer your question, I have seen that, I have seen all kind of travelers. I have seen Indian girls traveling solo in extreme places, not just in India but in other parts of the world which is considered dangerous. And what I have noticed through them, it's not just my personal opinion, but I have known other travelers, and I discussed with them, and what they had to share is that uh, the more number of people you'll meet while traveling, you'll get better at understanding people, and you'll get better at in managing people, like communicating with them. You'll be more comfortable in being in different situations, right? So it's more like preparing yourself, right? So it's like if you are well traveled, if you have met like thousands of people, you will get to know every time you meet someone new, you'll get their vibe. You'll get to know if it's fine to uh, in travel in that geography, or if that person is the right person for you to be with, or things like that. Does that
Yeah.
make sense, Nehi?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, so it's more of a preparing yourself. So I mean, I can't go into specifics about, hey, carry a pepper spray, or be careful about this thing in this particular region, or that thing in that particular region. That those things, of course, you can Google and find it out. But I would say, as a traveler, it makes sense to first get to know yourself and start from the regions where you feel comfortable to grow as a traveler and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. So, any questions on anything so far? No. So yeah, I guess I covered, and I guess you guys found some new hacks. I hope it will help you guys to plan your travels. Okay. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll just share my Instagram handle on chat. It's Indian Digital Nomad. Um, yeah, anything about travels, feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So yeah, I mean, I also take workshops on how to live, work, and play around the world, which is more about how you can how you can leave your 9 to 5 job, how you can work for yourself, and how with that you can work remotely from anywhere, right? So we are living a very exciting time where now work is no longer a location. Most of us are working from home, right? And what's going to happen next is this work from home will slowly translate into working remotely, right? Whether you're working for others or whether you're working for yourself, most of us are going to work remotely now. And that means that we will have more freedom and flexibility when it comes to where we want to go and where we want to work from. So that means that in the coming months and years, we will see more and more people traveling and working at the same time. It's going to be a lifestyle shift, and it's going to be all over. It's going to be all over India. It's going to be a big international trend, and it makes sense to prepare ourselves for it. So some of the things I see happening in India is that people are going to leave big cities and they will rather go to locations like Goa. They will rather go to locations like Kodaikanal, Himachal, Kurg, Wayanad, hill stations where they can work from, right? It makes sense to be there, work from there, because the cost of living there is low. The quality of life is way better than quality of life in big cities, which are anyway congested and polluted, right? So for all the right reasons, we will move, and we will move for good. Yeah. So it makes sense to prepare for the trend. If any of you guys are looking to shift from your regular job to starting your own business, which could allow you to work remotely from anywhere, follow your lifestyle at the same time working for yourself, then feel free to reach out for that as well. If you're following me, you'll get to know about next workshops on how to live, work, and play around the world. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. If you guys have any questions on that, I'll be happy to take up. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping it in 5 minutes.
That's really good to know. Yeah, we'll be reaching out to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, guys, feel free to ask any question at all. I mean, I'm more than glad. And yes, anything about being a digital nomad, anything about traveling anywhere in the world, I'm happy to answer.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this thing that you just talked about, you can be anywhere and work. Do you suggest that you should have a home base somewhere in the city and then go and do this, or you suggest, like, what is your suggestion, or do you recommend
Yeah, that's a very good question.
live everything
Yeah.
and live in
Right. Yeah, that's a very good question. And what I have noticed is that I have seen both type of people. It's actually a very good question, and that's something many people who are working remotely they struggle with. So what I have noticed is that there are many people who are working on the move, like they're constantly on the move. I mean, they just carry a backpack, and with that they go from destination A to B. They don't have a base camp. And what happens in that lifestyle, I have seen, is that after a while they feel a burnout, as in, if there is no anchor, they feel like they are not connected to a community, and after few months they feel like they feel extreme burnout, right? So the idea of this lifestyle is not to just follow your passion, but it also is to keep it going, as in it should be it should be more suitable for a long term. So I have noticed that in the long term it works better if you have at least a one base camp where you know that you can always get back to in case if you feel a burnout or you want to just chill, right? So yeah, so see, just to give you an example, what could happen is that my prediction is that in India, uh, people will start living with their tribes. Like, let's say you are an artist, and you can find 7 8 similar artists who would like to stay together, right? So you guys will choose a place, let's say in a hill station like Wayanad or Kodaikanal, and you guys will decide to stay there for most of the year, right? And so you can stay there for 5 6 months, but in case any of you guys want to go explore other places, you can definitely work and travel to other places, but you can always come back and stay with your community. So the idea is that we need community both in the offline space as well as the online space, and that is going to determine what kind of work life setup we are going to have.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. All right, guys. So thanks a lot for joining, and I hope I managed to answer most of your questions, and I hope I managed to guide you guys a bit about how to travel frugally. Okay, so feel free to reach out to me on Instagram if any of you guys have any questions. I have shared my handle in the chat. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for the
Thank you.
session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.